Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome back again on Legends TV. Today, we are going to talk about how this pandemic is going to affect our economy. I am here with an international economist from University of Ghana, Legon. But before that, I want to remind you that coronavirus is real. So, avoid touching men. Avoid touching your mouth, your eyes, and your nose. Before we start the discussion, let's go for a short commercial break, and we'll be right back. Senior economist, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So, as an international economist, how do you think this pandemic is going to affect our economy?
Yeah, thank you very much once again. We have a way of assessing every economy, and the yardstick for doing that is GDP,
Sure.
which consists of consumption made by household or citizens of that particular country, and investments made by firms and government spending.
You were talking about GDP. You said GDP.
Yes.
Like, how do you mean by that GDP?
GDP means gross domestic product, which measures how much that economy were able to produce within a particular year.
Okay.
And that determines the income level of that particular country or economy. And how this, I want to focus more on how this pandemic is going to affect the consumption level in our economy. And I want to be precise, Ghana.
Okay.
Now, as a rational human being, we don't want our consumption level to go down, even when we retire. That is why when we are working, we save for the future. We do that by depositing money in the financial sector like banks or purchasing insurance products. Some people do that by doing with what? Pension, like Senate and all that.
Sure.
So that when you retire, you have a constant or smooth consumption level. Now, we had a partial lockdown for Kumasi and Accra, but the people were still complaining because they know that their consumption level is going down. And when we are talking about the consumption, when you take a business, the business is a separate entity from its owners. Now, when the company purchases anything, it goes to the investment. But if the managing directors, if the board of directors, the individual purchase anything, that falls under the consumption. Now, when His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo purchases anything, it falls part of our consumption. And when you are taking the consumption, it's not only food. When the individual purchases clothes, it's part of the consumption. Now at this moment, for this pandemic, partial lockdown for Kumasi and Accra, you can only go out when you're going to buy food, you're going to see your doctor, you're going to the pharmacy. Or if you don't fall into a particular category, you're not going out, you're not going to work. So the consumption level is going down.
But I realize the government, Nana Akufo-Addo said, he is going to provide us with food, okay, because of this lockdown. From Accra and then Kumasi.
Exactly.
So you were saying that the people were complaining. Why were they complaining? Or is it because they were not satisfied with what our president said?
Ecuador, His Excellency, made announcement that they are supplying food for Kumasi and Accra. My friend in Kumasi called me last week and he even said that they started supplying them with the food. But the people are still complaining. The food is for the poor and the needy. Now, human beings are so rational. They know that they started giving them food. For the first month, it will be on point. But the subsequent month, the quantity and the quality will go down. And because they don't want their consumption level to go down, that is why still the people are complaining. Because they know that after this month, the quantity and the quality of the food will go down.
So, senior economist, how is this going to affect us in the long run as Ghanaians?
Uh, in the long run, but let me tackle from the short, medium, then I will go to the long run.
Okay.
As I said earlier on, that with the GDP, the consumption falls part. And in every economy, the consumption component contains about 50% of that. So if the consumption level goes down, the income level of that particular economy will go down. And when you are taking into consideration the short run, the medium run, and the long run, with the short run, let's focus on the next 3 months. Then the medium run will be up to the end of this year. Now, when you are talking about the long run, we will focus more on next year and next 2 years. But before then, the government has taken the water bill and half of our electricity bill for the next 3 months. So I would say that the individual, the people are not going to feel that impact for the next 3 months. But taking into consideration up to the end of this year, about 1 month ago that the president made an announcement to shut down schools. So further notice.
Sure.
Now, in our educational system, we have private schools and public schools.
Sure.
Now, with the public schools, they are rest assured that every month the government is going to pay them. But when you take into consideration the private schools, and in our economy, Ghana, most of the private schools, their income level is on what? Daily basis.
Yes,
the student pays the school fees on daily basis. So now the students are not going to school. So it tells you that they are not going to pay the school fees. So the proprietors, the owners of these schools are not going to receive any income. That tells you that the tutors are not going to be paid for the subsequent months if this pandemic continues. So they cannot plan for the future up to the end of this year. And because they don't want their consumption level to fall, as I said earlier on, if they are not going to receive any income, how are they going to consume? Unless maybe the government comes again to say that, okay, he is going to take up this burden again. Otherwise, the people will be in danger. They will be in a critical situation.
Sure.
Taking into the consideration next year, how the consumption level is going to be. I said earlier on that people save by depositing money in the banks or purchasing insurance. Because we don't want our consumption level to fall. We do that so that when we retire, we rely on that to have a smooth or a constant level of what consumption. So it tells you that those who are going to retire next year, because now they are not working, they won't be able to pay their SNET.
Yeah.
They won't be able to pay their premiums if they have an insurance product.
Yeah.
So it tells you that when they retire next year, next 2 years, it's going to affect their consumption level. That'll be in the long run.
Okay.
You get it? That'll be in the long run.
Okay. So, talking of the vulnerables, I mean the disabled, those who are blind, crippled, and stuff. When you go to every community, they are there. So how are these people going to be catered for?
Yeah, thank you very much once again. When you go to the universities, like University of Education, the University of Ghana, Legon, we have disabled.
Yeah.
And most of them are on a special scheme. So I would say that at this moment that we are facing this pandemic, they will be better off as compared to the disabled in the rural areas. So this is the time that the government should pay more attention to the vulnerable, the disabled in the rural areas.
Okay. Thank you very much, senior economist.
You're welcome.
Viewers, next week we are going to talk about how this pandemic is going to affect our investments.